The claim that I'm responding to is by Justin and Michelle. Diesel engines are more harmful to our environment and society than gasoline engines. My opponent's secondary claims are: diesel engines pollute more per gallon than the typical gasoline engine. Diesel pollution has a higher impact in our environment than gasoline pollution. And finally, diesel engines affect the average person's health more than gasoline engines. Responding to the first claim, diesel engines pollute more per gallon than typical gasoline engines. He sources that diesel exhaust has 40 more chemicals than the standard automobile, but he does not give any citation to this evidence. Without any citation, this evidence cannot be credible to his argument. He then goes on to say that diesel engines emit 4 times more carbon dioxide than gasoline, and once again, he fails to give any citation to this evidence. His last piece of evidence to this claim is that the EPA has few smog laws in effect for newer and future-built diesels, but no smog laws pertaining to the common old diesel engines. However, according to the Environmental Defense Fund, before 2006, the EPA set the first ever national emission standards to limit harmful exhaust from diesel engines used in machinery such as electrical generator, compressors, pumps, and other stationary equipment. Furthermore, to reduce the exhaust from older engines, Congress authorized in 2005 a program that will provide $1 billion in loans and grants for local initiatives to clean up existing diesel engines. This program covers all types of vehicles, and through this regulation, cost-effective technologies to cut pollution from diesel engines that already exist will be available to states and cities across the United States. The secondary claim was diesel pollution has a higher impact in our environment than gasoline pollution. While this is true, new advances in diesel engine technology has decreased the harmful exhaust from diesel engines. According to an article from Popular Mechanics, oil refineries are now producing a new ultra-low sulfur diesel, which is 98% cleaner than the diesel used in the 70s and has 97% less sulfur than diesel used in 1993. Which means less sulfur dioxide that goes into the atmosphere that causes acid rain. Also, according to Suncoast Resources, Inc., which supplies high-quality fuels, oil, and chemical lubricant products, as of 2006, ultra-low sulfur diesel is the new on-road diesel in the U.S. But by December 1st, 2010, all highway diesel will be using this new sulfur-low diesel. Non-road diesel will transition to ULSD, which is ultra-low sulfur diesel, in 2010. Trains and marine diesel will use ULSD in 2012, and after 2014, all highway, non-road, locomotive, marine diesel produced and imported will be ULSD. Also, the use of ULSD allows for the use of advanced emission control systems to be utilized, which greatly reduces the emissions of harmful chemicals. Also, according to the Clean Diesel Fuel Alliance, the new improvements will result in improvement in air quality and reduction of hydrocarbons and oxygens of nitrogen in our ozone layer. The EPA estimates that there are significant health benefits to these new cost-effective technologies. The final claim is that diesel engines affect the average person's health more than gasoline engines. Once again, he fails to source the studies that show how breathing diesel soot can cause health conditions from asthma to heart attacks. He says that states have records of diesel-induced heart attacks, but does not give any data or source citation for it. He once again does not give citation for the statistics about 500 premature deaths due to diesel exhaust. Without any source citation, this evidence cannot be trusted. Finally, he gives a study about the pollution versus East Oakland and West Oakland, where West Oakland is near the ports, near the marine docks, where they use diesel. He does demonstrate that the pollution levels are higher in the houses that are closer to the ports, but he does not give any information on how the pollution causes the residents of the West Oakland to have more health problems than those of East Oakland. This evidence would be helpful to his claims, however, this does not help to this supporting claim. Finally, diesel engines are harmful to our society, however, it is due to new diesel fuel and cost of, and the technology, new improvements made in the diesel engines, it is clear that the problems caused by diesel engines have been greatly reduced.
All right, structurally everything is fine. Your challenge in the evidence of the advocate on the first point and on the last point is mostly about source citations, and I think that's a reasonable press to make, although it doesn't, I don't know if it automatically undermines the evidence, especially in light of the fact that you don't have any evidence on that first point yourself. The best arguments that you have are your counterclaims that talk about how EPA standards have changed, how we've got this ultra-low sulfur diesel that's going to be utilized, and as a consequence there's going to be substantially less risk there. I think those both apply to most of the arguments that are being presented here, and I thought you did a pretty good job developing those. Then we kind of get back to the third point, and you're back to the place where you're basically making the presses on the evidence, and it actually sounds on the third point a little bit less like you're challenging the validity of the evidence and more like you're making a critique about how they could have taken this evidence and utilized it better, which is not really the point that you're trying to make. So I like the counterclaims. I thought that that was the strongest part of your argument. All right, thank you.